na metie Prophet Kofi Oduro na surprise me. Na surprise me pa say Prophet Kofi Oduro na all cancer answer no. Minim di obewin election no. Me say yanya na edi nipa na betena Ghana konya no so.
Kwajo minti so bia no abobare pen. Kwajo minti bi da. Jata busionfo nya dwuma wo mayanka. Anso wa we na mufunu da. Da bia jata we na mono kire se nyankopon wo ho. Jata bewi taliana.
Zafanat pania midini ya tough. Nicholas Omania Champani.
Me did the Isaiah Kojo Ampo from the great Ampong. And pray me no hwame. One men ka woni anhwe Ahintasem TV.
Obetimi afra me apostle na ubejem. Ahintasem TV. Ehona metie music.
Ahintasem TV. O mba kiro Ahintasem. Empanyefo sa obo abro na oti adoma nkomasem.
Gospel. Ahintasem. News. Nkomo papa. Eni bibia ewo Ahintasem TV.
One men hwe Ahintasem TV. More fire.
Tough.
You are watching Ahintasem. Keep it locked in.
Mema obi biara kwaba ede oba eye Ahintasem TV so abusua eye Owusu Bempah akasa na nensem a oka nyina ne se kire se nansen na ni ekutwa eye Prophet Kofi Oduro e video bi so eye tie untie kura wo betie e video bi so a na ensem bi a na woka in fact hu dwere ne ye papa kire se na oye surprise se eye Prophet Kofi Oduro e ka eye ensem bi sa cause Prophet Kofi Oduro you be a one tante se ensembi sa betimi apf nenum aba nanso so na otimi eye de eka eye sansem no a na kire se o kire eye nkire bi na odi nkomo bi ewo eye na asore dem in fact na oye surprise yi pa na ede nkomo na as ede ensem na Prophet Kofi Oduro eka ya in the Owusu Bempah se oye surprise abusua me pese wan kasa wokọ na okotie eye ensem no na se okọ video no na otie eye ensem a eye Prophet Kofi Oduro eka ya na Owusu Bempah se oye surprise. Message so nyan subscribe here to your Ahintasem TV channel na obe subscribe am uwi ana do nsa aboye ADOM no so e de am sere ba ADOM video bia jere betum bia no so nsa e betumi aka bia message so uwi na wa share na wa like so e de am obetumi so afollow e o Facebook abra wo search for here Ahintasem TV page no on Facebook no follow page no so aye den e de am abusuya afa yenti Owusu Bempah ye ba wadaroma ti ho bia no me de beto awo so
ye wo abato afa enti obi e bompa o mompa en kan o man kan na Sebeya ya beto aba no bewie na bibia ya asomdwem osofo enkrofo bi se ma hyenkom se political party bebewini ba me hyenkom o ma peso mo forso a hyenkom no ehema no osofo se me hyenkom osofo na ne bra osofo mo nka kire me da be na ma hyenkom a kire political party obewini this year men can be bia asun krofon say ma hyenkom say party bi na bewini na men kan hwe mesremo men hyenkom bia o men kire ni a obewini election no men kan because of me say afiwe men kan enti no se mo hwe social media no so na mo te senkrofo bi kan se so Owusu Bempah me see obi na be win election no political party bi anya no kre men kan bibia menim di obi win election no me say yanya na edi nipa na betena Ghana konya no so ba men share honkom enti dia mo beti bia no mo montungu anya no kre osofo o mo ma hyenkom ni nyina me believe obi an kom hye because one thing about kom hye ne say ubetimi ahu ade enne ade be kye asesa na wo mo ntin kom hye ase e na odifo bi hyenkom bi na ansi a ano mo frɛ ne so a false prophet e kwa bama ye be kye amankofo ahunu false prophet obi a nyame nsa wo no so na nyame ngosra wo no so bia wonya false ba obi a oyusu nsuman ene obronsam susum ene oye false ono no opeso osuasu nyame oye fake because talking kan Bible a Elisha shenkom ete Juram ene Josaphat but ensisa And don't just say Elisha no a false prophet. There be. E do time bi onyame kura timi ma ne honhom e bowra edifo bi mo hyankom e de kire ohene nyame pesu okoku ohene ni nti Bible said na da honhom efiri nyame nchen enyo oboronsam nchen efiri nyame nchen e ne bowra edifo 400 e mo nyina hye Ahab nkom onyame buta nyina ne se no pesu okum Ahab enti edifo no nyame honhom ene hye omo mo hye sankom no mekaya pe ene oka ade a na e wo se etu Ahab ba Ahab wantie because no aprim na koma so hwa Benjamin ene Israel fon tokwa no e wo apamada ka no ho ena prophetic word by say Israel fon ko no mbedi nkunim e Benjamin fon no so ba no mo ko wo ma ni nkunim ntie mu se wo so nyame apamadaka a odifo kase so for pon and o declare that says the Lord to no so a false ana there be one false and come share Jonah koshe no Nineveh and see amem eno nti edane enti obi betimi ahunu enne ade a bekyere no se na nyina yie antoto ne niam yie bedane akobi enti se sia me na okasai eguso dane eno nti ma obi nkaso obi ahye nkomtro mekai me basofu bi ebire bi atwa mu de nyame ikyira me a mekai no no so ka opposite first na oye me ba sese na onya me ba bi ono so ka opposite oba fie menene kasai eso se de nyame yi akyira no ma mfa me mpani nie no an control no me jana mo no aka de obeka me ka chen se me say papa baby a mawura makoduru ebunu ma makono untimi nkohobi me no adana dania mama kwa kohunu adane dane no ne ebesi awieye ete say 2024 abatwe adifo ne bebre hyankom ba ebedane dania ba baby ebedane akosi no mawura ho meka ne hye nyame ne monyam mawura ho ahunu enu ntina meka se omunyina nkomhye no enya false osofo enya false enkomhye bi obi ehye bia untimi nkondemo ebedane saa na papa yewie October ni ewura November mu a ena ne ma be settle enu nti menhye nkom enkyere nia obewi ni election no ba me se eyefie ha eni esi ahen osofo na mitie prophet Kofi Oduro na a surprise me
sorry. And so I was listening to Prophet Kofi Oduro and I was a bit surprised.
Osofo o chire prophetic ministry said it,
and he explained the nature of the prophetic ministry.
Or dimension of prophetic ministries.
And he taught the dimensions in the prophetic ministry.
Now, a surprising me say Prophet Kofi Oduro and all kinds of answers.
Now, I was a bit surprised having heard that teaching from Prophet Kofi Oduro. Because he would usually not say things like that.
Okay, can say, you were a diffua, onyame form, eso echusu leaders, king, and a man penny for emanations.
Now, in his teaching, he made a submission and said that there are certain prophets that God has designated and assigned to appoint and to instill kings and leaders for nations.
And watch a diffua. Omo edo nyankopon judgment eba.
And he also thought about prophets who convey the judgment of God.
And ochre edifo a omo ka onyame botaye ne onyame adisare so obeye e wo man num.
And they also spoke about prophets who express or expose God's intention to the people.
Na de ya me nwanwa pa ene ne a okan a o kire se ye wadifo bi ohonom a onyame asra omonwo se omunchusu leaders omu anointed king and a president ema o leading nation and or the Samuel a example prophet Samuel.
Now above all, what I was a bit fascinated about was the fact that he said emphatically that there are prophets that God has anointed to appoint, to raise, and to install kings and leaders for nations. And to demonstrate that point, he made reference to Prophet Samuel as an example.
And I ultra a differ onyame do mo attach king and a president. And Owusu Bempah and Josiah. And I all Daniel and in the Nebuchadnezzar, Joseph and Pharaoh.
And in his submissions, he was talking about prophets that God anointed and assigned them to kingdoms. So he used Josiah and Jehoiada. He used Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar. He used Joseph and Pharaoh and other examples that he cited.
Many say ayana a young crowphobia sophobia politics.
Now, the reason I was excited about the teaching he was doing is that some people erroneously think that certain pastors are being merely political.
And some way, Makano them several times.
I've said this thing right here on many occasions.
Samuel, our hoya tamia, Quebecas or your politics.
Now,
if I am a calling, I am a fret.
If someone,
I can't the prophetic ministry, no.
If someone were alive today, would we have said about Samuel that he was a political prophet, or what he was doing was politics? You know, what someone was doing was a part of his prophetic calling. It was a feature in his prophetic ministry.
Enunti, I want to say, who say, and yes, a deep for near politics. I am not metate, Sanko for say, Ghana deep for na Kojisika, every politicians in Channel Moshankom, Minianum, and Tissa.
I've often heard some people accuse prophets in Ghana that they have taken monies from some political parties, and with open face, they say things in support of the political party as though it were a prophecy, but that is not the case.
Matekransi say, "O my penny nanado, at $5 million, Abremi Owusu Bempah, Tina Nansay, as a make Kasaman and Yanokre."
Now I've heard some people say
it's not true
that the president has given me about $5 million, and that is why I seem to have a soft spot for him and say things that seem to be in his favor, but that is not true.
Now,
whatever I say or whatever I do, if what you are doing is right, I will speak about it and affirm that it is right. If what you're doing is wrong, I would also say it is wrong. I'll tell you what
mistake.
It is.
Now, catch me said, now I catch us and sorry.
Now,
because no one is perfect.
Now, if I do something and I err, and you draw my attention to the error, I am going to admit my error and I would apologize, because nobody is perfect. The person who has never made a mistake is God.
Enunti miana nanu bi meka yese ye man penny na nado adinti na o ma ken oforiata asona financial side honum weja bibia ma no, but papa no onim hono adwuma ne ye onya de, but ase de obeka bia na o ma penny ti eduru time bi kura no a wo so ma penny sisa no wan sisa no eso papa no ntimi nyang de no na me wie na mbaga bi o kire da akoso na am say no nana ye to aba na ma ya to aba na amasa ankrofo yi me de na me feel say ma dwen kire eno nkire say I am against him, eno nkire say oye nyuma papa ama me nka.
Now the other time I expressed an opinion about what people say about the former finance minister, Mr. Ken Oforiatta, and I expressed that he had mismanaged the economy in very plain words, and the fact that it was as if the de facto president we had was Gabriel Ochiridako. Well, that was my opinion anyway. Now, the fact that I have that opinion does not mean if the president has done something which is right, I shouldn't talk about it. If he's done something and it is good, I will talk about the good thing he has done. It doesn't mean I'm against the president.
I am not kasa etia nana kufuado Ghana mampeni, but unse ejuma no dia she obiansa watichem ono nko antimi nyeni nyina enti financial side ono no Oforiatta no de share nsa na ankoye enam se o mampeni eho no ebia onim nimde oho too much enti no de share Oforiatta nsa no enti wanya ni ye a ekwan bi so no I want to be blamed Nanado too much. On Sadio. But near my papa or my penny Nanado, why the Osieka. In fact, why near my papa? Media Debia Mecca free education. Set Nemea Jenny, Obia Nemea Jenny. Free education. Share unim. Anna me person can make Sembinaka education minister. Uncle Betty and his hanke ye. Ankan Qualano Maquaya on. Anka onfa bills emma student biya nanka oba no de abekire na wofo senka mi ko school yi ka sika we na ka mi kwa kotua anka magi afiri wo na nanado atua ma wo enu nti hunu se nanado aye ade nanka enka ka wofo no no mu hunu se sika anka kwa kotua nya sika ketwa. But on my penny and now to Danko Kufa, we tear mount. What must say? Enti, self education now, why you know, in fact, Osia Bonabaso. And non say, Sabio, one mammiska, Samin Casamano, Mepacho, or Mammy, but near why you know, Momianka. The onion, Yabeka, dear, yes, we are Becca. Nansaya Mate, Sir Wakra machines via bar. Akwanya first man is legon yakwano ntokro ni nyina o man ne kama mi fie kwan rofro se o ma guni nyina so kama on saade no ba bia na ho tutu nyina se o mu ye na kufuado wakra machines bebredi abagana se mfanya akwan yiye enu nti kasaphin ba bia ekofa nuane frei ekwan a cars efaswana ateche no entiantimi ko ni nyina omu ye ena na kufuado na aye etimi ka se bonsem mana oso bonsem mana hallelujah osafo baba chiremu na omu omante twi na omu te hono omu so mu omu nsam bi
so succinctly what I would say is that there are quite a few things that he has done to his own credit, and when we mention those things, we'll consider them as a feather in his cap and an achievement in during his administration. One of it is the free SHS, which he has introduced, and it seems to be working. The advice I'm going to give to the Minister for Education is that if at the end of every term the students were coming home, they were given a bill which they will show their parents and say that this is the cost of the education I received in the course of the term, and that is the amount of money you are required to have paid. But the state, under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has paid that amount of money. I am sure that it would have reminded the parents of every child the obligation and the burden, the financial burden they carried on their shoulders, which they have been relieved of by the state. Now, other things that he has done is that he is building roads. There were so many bad roads that have been built, and there are so many others that are being built. And so I think that these are good things that he has done, that if I talk about, you and I would attest that these are factual matters which are achievements in his administration.
I believe Sir Clinton are ready because me person
Now I want us to sing and worship. Now,
into Osofo, one kick and the Nana Kufuado, or better Kunyan Osofo kicking. Osofo Amo Bra, Unaye media man, Sofo Amo, Branabe kicker. Osofo Amo, She Unim, Ayana Emea, Sanko for say, Owusu Bempah can ye, Senanado Bar, Obey Niama, Obebu May, Nanado Bay, or Nyeri, wanna catch us on Nyeri. When the catcher was so on your she. Osofo, and no name me yano. Osofo, a banasa na quest, I said, ye, Naminam Yasuka, yano, I said, and see. But free education. Ah, now President Ben Wabagana, what my yes, I did. Osofo, the microphone can be a media man. Kakakra winning. Osofo, Kaka. They are free education.
Free education count. And planting for food and jobs.
And only dear here.
Or you say, obey queer. No queer, you know, a beba duah, na ye dibi.
Tina man saying, by a mono ababe brain. Okay. Okay. Affirmative.
But or Sĥ0cked say, but free education need or the aba.
Free education or the aba.
And aban ekase COVID buy no.
COVID buy no.
Or my Ghana food and free.
Ampo. Ampa. So for what kind? COVID. Or Cheniani Magana in Samukai. If we are seeing baby Ghana penny or yeah Nana Kufado or on the American president claimed to me and yes Archie. Monkey can your money be so for me tea. And I just saw Coco study. Not next week, what about that they won't study. But you say Kumasi Airport no say where you come.
Papa
we
what in it?
Now Matisse Bruna for so. And also, then, or yeah, airport. And akwess way, baby.
Papa, last year, this year now, say a year of rose.
Year of rose.
And Tina, or they excavate and the idea quine. Or the district in Ghana, say, and find CSA quine or district to be a
and another. And in a video, yes, I did. Na Manasseh hospital biso hospital.
Papa say I will north. Last week yana Okubiano.
Last week no Okubiano. You say voter so we see hospital kasi bi voter. Na hono o mawie.
Papa you bet.
O makwa Okubiano. Osofo Aya steady the nana duah. Na oba no aka ni nyina ba ko sebe ye obia behu se o ma penny nana duah ade.
One district one ambulance.
Ambulance. O say Akwapem so akosi hospital o. Ana metesa ne wife so akoye confirmation akoye bibi o confirmation.
Children am
nya no na make. Yam fancy Monsia Clinton no metodum.
Abusia also betimi akere wadwene about this particular video comment section message so wie na onya subscribe na don sa aboye ADOM no so ama ye sere be ADOM video bia share betum bia so nsa betimi aka bi message wo se owia no wa share na wa like so e de amaye
Zafanat Pania midini ya tough Nicholas Omania champion obetimi afra me apostle na ubejem Ahintasem TV ehona mitie music gospel Ahintasem news news nkomo papa ene bibia e wo Ahintasem TV e tough